Good afternoon from Gili Islands, everyone. It's Anifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, I thought I would talk to you about something very important, and I've talked about it in different videos, but this particular video is about knowledge and humility. And so I thought I'd start with this first quotation, which says, "Science is organized knowledge. Wisdom is organized life." Science is organized knowledge and wisdom is organized life. And this is definitely something that I am experiencing. And as you know, I feel like I have some good knowledge in the healthcare system. And that's certainly the target of this discussion today. And all of us are contributing to our own healthcare, of course. And you know that I encourage that we take self-responsibility. Now, I also want to encourage that we learn what we do not know. And how do we know what we do not know? So one of the things that I talk about regularly in videos too is about desire. And when we look at desire, there's often so much judgment about what people desire. So some people desire money, I talk about that regularly. And then some people desire, fantasies of various sorts, certainly in Bali, whether it's there's addictions that are here, like in every country. And then there are, of course, things like a desire for food, a desire for love, a desire for anything. But knowledge is also something that we cannot acquire unless there's a desire to acquire knowledge. And what happens is a lot of people kind of want to acquire knowledge, and it's just to be able to say that I've acquired this and I know this. But when we know it, we're practicing from that space. And so I came across this wonderful quotation, and I'll tell you why all of this has arisen in my reflection in the last couple of days, because I've met some wonderful people here, and they were part of healthcare too. So this is kind of this awareness that this is an area that needs some light shed on it, and I'm hoping that this video will do that. So this first quotation, it says, or second quotation, it says, "As the mind, so the speech." This is from the Vedas, this quotation, this idea, this hope for reflection on this thought of as the mind, so the speech. So it says here, the reflection is this quote draws attention to the connection between our thoughts and our speech. It suggests that the words we choose to express ourselves are reflective of our inner state. By cultivating a calm and compassionate mind, we can communicate with clarity, kindness, and authenticity, fostering understanding and harmony in our interactions. So again, I'm going to read this again so you have this moment of reflection before I move on to explain a little bit more. So it says, "As the mind, so the speech," and the reflection on this is this quote draws attention to the connection between our thoughts and our speech. It suggests that the words we choose to express ourselves are reflective of our inner state. By cultivating a calm and compassionate mind, we can communicate with clarity, kindness, and authenticity, fostering understanding and harmony in our interactions. And doesn't this sound so basic that of course that would do that? If we will have understanding, kindness, clarity, we speak from that space. Yet, if there is not an understanding and there is some knowledge base, we might know the things to say, and we might say it in a way that's perhaps a little bit less kind. And it's just energetically. So we could be saying relatively kind things in a not kind tone, and that would be not an understanding of how I speak and how it affects myself and the world around us. So again, this whole idea has come up, or from this reflection time, was from running into a couple of healthcare practitioners and working in different areas. And it was very interesting to see the three of us together and how we all spoke with one another. It was all very kind. It was all very compassionate from our own spaces. And yet, there was definitely areas for all of us to improve in our own ways. And it's interesting that this brought up the reflection of humility. And in healthcare practitioners, oftentimes, and maybe even most of the world, we're moving into ego space. So as we do that, there is not as much humility in our thoughts, and then our words, and then sometimes our actions. So this next quotation is about that. It says, humility is the first step towards learning. You can't learn until you are humble enough to realize there is something for you to learn. And the reason I'm bringing this quote up is because a lot of people, and including some that I run into here, will say that I really want to learn this, and it shows they really want to learn something new or different, or they're curious enough. And as soon as we might say something, you might go through this yourself, and even if that person is watching this video, I hope you'll smile about this or laugh about it. Because it's a space that once a person hears it, it's like, oh yeah, I know that, I do that, yeah, I do that. Can we just stop for a minute to receive information and see, why did that arise in this conversation? Why is there a suggestion for something? And can I learn something just from that space? Now, certainly the actions were, I want to learn, and it's clearly a very quick putting into action, but it's also coming from a place of, I already know this, I just have to remember it. And we probably all do. We all know about humility, and we all know it in the background, but unless we're practicing it and someone shares an idea with us, it takes a humble mind to just accept and listen and say, yeah, maybe I can do that differently. And not right now, I'm going to show to you that I can. And I've always done this, you just haven't seen it right now. And it might be truth in this moment, in this present moment, when someone is sharing something like this. It takes a humble mind to say, yeah, that is possible. That could be a way to look at things. I'll think about it. I'll reflect on it. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with it. It doesn't mean that you have to disagree with it. But if there is that jumping onto, I do this, I already do this, there is that just little bit of, and Vedic scripture would use terms like arrogance, that there's an arrogant mind that is taking that information and saying, yeah, I do this, yeah, I'm already there. So in that, I came across an excellent video from Swami, I believe it was Tejomayananda, and he said it so nicely. He said, if knowledge gained with humility, if knowledge is gained with humility, it becomes an ornament. It becomes something that we can share, and it's beautiful. So if we think of an ornament, it's something beautiful to look at, to admire, to enjoy, right? To learn from, something about, oh, I'd like to have that ornament because as part of me, because that's part of this person, or that's part of this situation, or that's part of, this is the ornament of humility. And again, the humility, the knowledge that's gained. So on, I can call myself a tree, and we put a tree ornament on, of humility is that tree, and the ornament is that knowledge, is that it's just something to be able to live, to express, to live from that space. But he says after that, if a student has got arrogance, and using this sort of line, I already know everything, but I'm giving the teacher an opportunity to prove themselves. And I can tell you, this is certainly an area that I hear from a lot of different people, whether it's healthcare professionals or not. It's like, oh yeah, you know something, okay, tell me what it is. And from that space, it's a space of arrogance. And what he said is, if one receives knowledge with arrogance, or through the eyes of arrogance, then only the ego will expand. And I believe that's it in a nutshell. If one is receiving knowledge, even from a desire to receive knowledge, from the eyes or mind of arrogance, it's only the ego that expands, because that's what will happen is people will say, I've already known this, I've done it all my life. And if someone is sharing this with us, it's possible that there's something to learn from it. And that learning might be the humility behind it. And this is what I share with you today. I hope that it is a good time of reflection for you to see whether you are open to learning, and certainly if you're watching this video, you might be. And if you're open to learning, see the energy with which you're learning from, because I'd love for it to be a beautiful ornament on you, in you, with you, carried with you, rather than the ego expanding. I wish you a fabulous day ahead, and I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.